Getting brand deals and sponsored videos can significantly help increase your income and help you grow your YouTube channel while making more money, right? And while it's essential to have a decent following and engagement rate for better brand collaboration, even smaller channels can land deals if they have a dedicated and highly engaged audience. So here's things to do that you can get started very, very quickly with. First, you need to know where to look, right? So you can look within your niche, so you can contact companies within your niche directly by doing a little bit of research. A cold email can sometimes be surprisingly effective. However, you want to reach out on many different platforms, not just email, and that way you can figure out the easiest way to get in touch with the people who can make that decision. There's also influencer marketing platforms like FameBit, Grapevine, Aspire IQ, and a number of others that pop up almost daily, so try all of them. They help connect influencers with brands that are looking for promotion, and they help create a portfolio showcasing your past work and statistics to attract brands. You can also reach out, like I said, on social media, right? So use platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter. Don't just stop at like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and others like that, right? You can use the ones that are more professional to reach out to these companies and get in front of somebody that, again, is going to be the decision maker for a brand deal. Another easy place to do this is networking events, right? So for example, if you were to go to YouTube GrowthCon or anything like that, just as a spectator, you would notice that there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that you could talk to figure out how they got their brand deals, but also there's a lot of brands there looking to meet and partner with YouTubers and content creators that are within their niche. And it goes without saying, it seems like common sense, but previous collaborations are probably the best place to start. So if you've already done some sponsored content with anything, then consider reaching out again to see if that brand is interested in another go-round. They always say that it's tougher to sell a new customer than it is to sell a previous customer again, right? Well, the same concept here goes with somebody that you worked well with in the past, right? If you've done a good job, if they like the video that you produced and it got some sales, well, they're going to be more inclined to then go with you in the future and maybe just make some slight adjustments. You could also ask your audience as well, right? Because sometimes your audience can be a great resource for brands that they'd like to see you collaborate with, but also a great resource for software or programs they're using. And then you can obviously get that idea and reach out to that company. So test your audience, right? Ask them what services, what programs they'd like to see you cover or review. And that's going to give you a good indication of the different software programs or different services or different products that they're already looking into. So then you know it's a good cohesive fit with your audience and you can reach out to that company then. Another key insight here is it might be beneficial to have a media kit prepared when you actually reach out to companies. So a media kit simply outlines your channel stats, right? So your subscriber count, your average views, your audience demographics. And a lot of people think that this is super complicated, but it doesn't have to be. You can find all this in the back end of your analytics, literally just copy screenshots, show them exactly what it is that your audience engagement gets, the different demographics, right? Like what's the age group, how many women versus men, etc. What's your average view duration on a video, how many returning viewers you have, all that good stuff. That's what companies want to see, so they can kind of have a quantifiable number that they can estimate is going to be able to view that video both immediately, but also going forward into the future. You also want to have your rates ready, okay? One of the things that I get a lot from newer creators is, okay, they'll find somebody that's interested in maybe collaboration or a brand deal or a sponsored video post, and then they have no idea where to start, right? Have a rate ready. I typically have a rate for a long video if it's something that makes sense for me and the channel and the audience, right? I'll do an entire video on a software or a tutorial on a specific software, right? If it makes sense, and then I'll charge for the entirety of that video. However, oftentimes I'll just mention something as like a little segment in a video, and that is like a 30-second ad clip that you can charge for as well if somebody were to reach out to you. You can also say like, hey, I'm not going to make an entire video on this, but I'd love to mention it in a video that's related, so you know that the audience watching that is also interested in your software or your product or your service, and then just sell a little one. And that's a really good way to get introduced to brands, start working with them, but also it's a really great way to get you some experience because you don't feel like you're charging thousands of dollars for a brand or a sponsored video when you don't really have a lot of experience. So get your feet wet with a little ad creative that's like 30 seconds. Play around with it. If you want like a good example of somebody that does this extremely well, check out How to Beast on YouTube. He's a fitness YouTuber. He always has like these really cool innovative ways that he's kind of introducing new brands and new sponsors into the channel, and he makes it fun, he makes it exciting. So you can do things like that. It's a really good way to get your feet wet, and also you can charge a pretty penny for it as well, a few $100 depending on how big your channel is, to maybe even a few $1,000s if you have a bigger channel. And that's for a 30-second to a minute advertising slot within a related, keyword there, related video. And also, this should go without saying as well, but always have a contract in place to secure the terms of each party, right? Ideally, it would be a signed contract on both sides, but if not, if you're just getting into it, then have an invoice, send them an invoice with the expectations in the memo line of exactly the service that you're providing, exactly what you're gonna do within the video, and exactly how you plan to mention them, right? That's really all you need from the get-go, but always have some sort of agreement in writing that you both can look to and say, hey, this is the terms of the agreement. You pay me X, I deliver you Y, and then we know that we're both done. And one of the most important points of this is sometimes people get caught up in brands and sponsorships and getting like partnerships where they can increase their income, right? However, you don't want to torpedo the trust of your audience. This is absolutely crucial. Never compromise the quality of your content, but never compromise the integrity of your channel and the integrity of the things that you're recommending just for a payday. Or I promise you, you're going to lose the trust of that audience, and you're going to torpedo your chance of any future brand deals in the future, because that audience is never going to trust what you say again. So do not take low quality products or services that you do not believe in and recommend them. Only work with companies, products, and services that you believe in, that you genuinely feel good about, and you would genuinely recommend to your brother, your sister, whatever, right? Only work with companies like that. It's going to build trust long term, and if you're recommending companies that are good and providing a good service, not only will your viewers not mind, but if they decide to trust you and decide to go with that company, then they'll be more likely to do it in the future with a future company as well. And that's, again, going to increase your LTV of your viewers or your lifetime value, and also build the trust with your audience long term. So those are some tips for, getting brand deals and sponsorships, especially for smaller channels. Hope it helps.